My husband's love for me is strange. When his love hit 50%, he chose to take a concubine, marrying my younger sister. And when his love reached 75%, he took the 2 children I suffered to bear and gave them to my sister to raise. By the 7th year of this arrangement, the system told me his love for me finally reached 100%. I was full of confusion. If he claims to love me so much, why does everything he does only cause me such deep pain? This kind of love isn't what I want. So when the system gave me the choice to leave this world or stay, I chose to leave without hesitation. The system gave me 1 day to say goodbye, like having one last meal with my children. But my son rejected me. He said to me, "Auntie, you're always looking for me and my sister. Our mother won't be happy." He even told Jiu Jingyan about it. Soon Jiu Jingyan came to see me. He had just finished a court. His official robes made him look handsome yet cold. "Jiang Yaning, did you go see the kids again?" His voice was calm, but I could tell he was displeased. Whenever I missed the kids before and went to see them in secret, Jiu Jingyan would catch me. He'd have that same attitude. Each time I'd quietly apologize. But now that I'm leaving, I don't want to just apologize anymore. For the first time, I pushed back. I'm their biological mother. Is asking for a final meal before I die really too much? Nonsense. Jiu Jingyan's face suddenly darkened. "If you're sick, see a doctor. Don't curse yourself." I was telling the truth, but he didn't believe me. He even scolded me. "See the children less from now on. And don't use those beggar tricks of acting like you're dying to get attention. On the children. Today, copy the family rules once." As a warning. With that he left. I watched his retreating figure, my eyes stinging. In his eyes, my being near the kids is like contaminating them. If he despises me this much, does Jiu Jingyan really love me? But the system said, "Host, the system makes no mistakes. Jiu Jingyan's love for you has indeed reached 100%. Maybe humans express love in very subtle and unique ways. I don't know why he needs to be subtle, but by now, the spark I felt when I first met him has been slowly ground into dust. I won't copy those rules for another second." A servant came with news. My 2-year-old daughter wanted my lotus cakes, and I was to bring them to Mingyu Pavilion. That's where Zhang Qingyan lives. I'm dying anyway. I'll cook for my daughter one last time. Half an hour later, the lotus cakes were ready. As I left the kitchen, a cold wind blew in. Suddenly, I coughed up blood. My chest throbbed with pain. "System," I asked, "is this the sign of my death?" The system replied, "Yes. I've adjusted your physical parameters. This body will fall gravely ill and eventually die from blood loss. Bear with the pain for a bit." I wiped the blood from my mouth, gasping and leaning on the doorframe. "It's fine. I can handle pain. I'll be okay in a moment. The people who took the wrong baby abandoned me. I grew up as a beggar to get a bite to eat. I was beaten all my life. Later, the system helped me reclaim my identity. I married into the Jiang family to win over Jiu Jingyan. There were 900 family rules. Jiu Jingyan saw my attempts to please him as shameless seduction. He'd make me kneel in the ancestral hall all night long. Pain has long been my companion. Once I stopped coughing up blood, I forced myself up and carried the food box to Mingyu Pavilion. My son was waiting at the gate. Before I could even speak, he snatched the box from me. 5-year-old Jiu Shaoyan was very guarded. He had someone block my path. "Auntie," he said rudely, "this is far enough. Don't come in and ruin our family's time together." It felt like ice water poured over me. My smile froze. Jiu Shaoyang ran off with the box, shouting "Mother" excitedly toward the house. I watched him go inside and throw himself into Zhang Qingyan's arms. The 4 of them looked so happy together. The drafty wind whipped at my clothes. I was cold and in pain, feeling utterly alone. This world has been so unkind to me. The system comforted me. "You'll leave this world in 8 hours." I endured the pain and went back to my room. I reminded the system of its promise. Once I die in this world, it must take me somewhere where I can actually feel loved. Before I could hear a response, I collapsed onto the bed, unconscious. I don't know how long it was. The door was kicked open with a bang. Jiu Jingyan barged in and dragged me off the bed. Jiang Yaning. He questioned heartlessly. You actually poisoned the lotus cakes? Qingyan and our daughter are unconscious. How could you be so wicked? Hand over the antidote, now! My arm throbbed from his grip. I struggled to explain. I didn't poison anyone. But he wouldn't listen. He dragged me to Mingyu Pavilion. We stopped. Before I could steady myself, my son Jiyu Xiaoyan rushed out. He rammed into my waist. He kicked and punched me, calling me a poisonous woman. You hurt my sister and my mother. I hate you. You deserve to die. I fell onto the frozen ground. My back felt like it was breaking. My face was pale as a sheet. Jiyu Jingyan finally stopped him. But then he frowned and punished me. Until Qingyan and Jiazhao are safe, you'll stay here and reflect. Just as he finished, the doctor came out of the room and bowed to Jiyu Jingyan. Rest easy, Lord Jiyu. Madam Qingyan and Lady Jiazhao aren't poisoned. The young lady just has a cold. And the madam fell asleep from exhaustion. Jiyu Jingyan's cold expression froze. Hearing this, my son didn't even look at me. He just shouted, "Mother," happily, and ran inside to see Jiang Qingyan. Jiyu Jingyan snapped out of it and came to help me up. He looked apologetic. I'm sorry. We were wrong about you. But don't take it out on Xiaoyan. He only hit you because he was worried. He doesn't really hate you. I forced a weak smile. I said nothing. I'm leaving this world soon anyway. Whether they hate me or not doesn't matter anymore. I fought back the dizziness in my head. I pulled my hand away from Jiyu Jingyan. I turned and tasted blood in my throat. I'm getting weaker and weaker. I don't have the energy to argue with Jiyu Jingyan anymore. I lifted my foot to leave, but Jiyu Jingyan grabbed my hand again. He seemed like he wanted to make it up to me. He rarely invited me to do anything. There's a lantern festival tonight. Don't you like lively events? You can come with us. I'll help you win a lantern this time. I just sneered and yanked my hand away. No, I don't want to be yelled at in public again for stealing Jiang Qingyan's poems. Jiyu Jingyan paused, his refined face flushed with embarrassment. When I first married into the Jiang family, I tried my best to please and win over Jiyu Jingyan. I did everything I could to cling to him. I learned poetry from him. I studied so hard. Jiyu Jingyan was the top scholar in Wei country. He's really talented. When he saw me put in the effort, he agreed to teach me. That time learning from him was the only happy time in my life. But later, I managed to win a lantern at the festival. But that lantern, Jiang Qingyan wanted it too. Jiang Qingyan accused me in public. Sighed, I copied her poem, exposed how low I was, and made me a laughingstock in the capital. But that poem, I wrote it myself in front of Jiyu Jingyan. I asked him to back me up, but he just said sisters fighting in public looks bad. Don't take it so seriously. Let Qingyan have it. That year, Jiang Qingyan was celebrated as a genius, and I became the biggest joke in all of Wei. After that, I didn't like lively places anymore. But my body was falling apart faster than I thought. I didn't get far. I just took a breath of the cold air, and everything went black. I collapsed before I knew it, right before I lost consciousness. I saw the always calm Jiyu Jingyan actually panic for once, picking me up and shouting my name. I'm starting to believe what the system said. Maybe Jiyu Jingyan does like me a little, but I still want to leave this world. His love only hurts me. I want to be cared for, to be treasured, to be loved no matter what. For someone who can't stand me getting hurt, like how Jiyu Jingyan treats Jiang Qingyan. When I woke up again, I found myself back in bed. Jiyu Jingyan was actually sitting by locks on my bedside. He was holding a bowl of hot congee. He sounded annoyed. The doctor says you did this by starving yourself. That's why you're so weak. You've been learning the Jiang family's rules for 7 years. How do you still not get it? Drink the congee. Then go kneel in the ancestral hall and copy the family rules. Again with the family rules. I looked at Jiyu Jingyan's face and felt annoyed. I've been married into the Jiang family for 7 years. Jiyu Jingyan always tells me I have no sense of propriety and keeps making me copy the family rules. My knees are covered in ugly calluses from kneeling. I've totally memorized the Jiang family rules. I refused with a blank face. I'm not going. If you really can't stand me, just divorce me. Then whether I understand propriety or not will have nothing to do with you or the Jiang family. Nonsense. Before I finished, Jiu Jingyan cut me off with a dark face. You think Jiang's is someplace you can marry into, or leave whenever you want. I don't want to hear this sort of thing. Come again. Take Madam to the ancestral hall. He acts more angry as the punisher than I do as the one being punished. The system says he likes me, but he shows zero mercy when punishing me. I doubt he was really nervous before I passed out. Maybe I just imagined it, but I never thought. This time, I actually avoided copying the family rules. A servant woman dragged me out of the yard. Soon after, I ran into Auntie Jiang sent by my parents. Auntie Jiang dragged me to the main courtyard and forced me to kneel on the ground. Then she slapped me hard. Miss Yunning, the Lord heard you tried to poison Miss Qingyan. You're wicked. I'm here to carry out the Jiang family rules. 30 lashes! Pow! Before I could even explain, they forced off my outer robe. My back was quickly covered in blood. It hurt so bad I was shaking. Since Jiang Qingyan married into the family, ever since Jiang Qingyan was born, my parents had people punish me, saying it was for my own good, so I'd learn the rules and earn the family's respect. But honestly, at first, Jiang's people just ignored me. No one dared treat me, the lady, badly. But after I was punished publicly, even the servants looked down on anyone in the house could step on me. After all 30 lashes, Auntie Jiang stopped. Miss Ning, reflect on yourself. I'll send your most precious ruby pendant to Miss Qingyan as compensation. After they left, I fell on the snow and couldn't get up for a long time. None of the servants came to help me. They mocked me, yelling beggars will always be beggars. Jiang Yunning, even marrying our brilliant scholar couldn't change your rotten nature. You get punished by your family every day. No one in Wei is more embarrassing than you. What a sight. Thank goodness the young master and miss were raised by Lady Qingyan since birth. Otherwise, this family's future would be doomed. It's freezing cold. My shoes quickly froze. The pain in my back went numb too. I heard enough of their ridicule. Finally, I had strength to get dressed. Enduring wave after wave of dizziness, I stumbled back inside. Walking past the garden, I heard laughter. It was Jiu Jingyan and Jiang Qingyan, lighting lanterns by the pond with the kids. Jiang Qingyan was full of smiles, clinging to Jiu Jingyan's arm, acting cute. Jingyan, I hope our family never has to be apart. Jiu Jingyan looked so gentle. He said, you're so genuine. Heaven will surely make your wish come true. They looked at each other and smiled. So in sync, so warm. I also begged Jiu Jingyan to light lanterns with me and made wishes. But he only smashed my handmade lantern with a cold face, saying, if you have time for this nonsense, you should copy the family rules instead. Go learn some real rules. I couldn't watch anymore. Turned to leave. But Jiu Jingyan noticed me. He called out to me, come and light lanterns too. Jingyan's hands are delicate. She can't do rough work. You help her make lanterns. She wants to make a few more, to pray for the family's safety. I was about to refuse, but Jiang Jingyan sweetly grabbed my hand. Jingyan, take the kids to the pavilion to light lanterns. Yuning will stay and keep me company. Jingyan glanced at me. She nodded and left. She took the kids. As soon as she turned, my wrist hurt. Jiang Qingyan gripped my hand tight. She spoke so only we could hear. She mocked, Jiang Yunning, you're so pathetic. So what if you're the real daughter of the Shengshu family? Your parents don't like you. Your husband doesn't like you. Even your kids don't like you. A beggar in fancy clothes. You still live such an ugly life. If I were you, I would have died of shame already. I pulled my hand back in pain. Next thing, Jiang Qingyan suddenly fell toward the pond. She cried out, Qingyan, help! Right at the crucial moment, Jiu Jingyan rushed over and grabbed Jiang Xinyan. He didn't let her fall in. Before I could say anything, 5-year-old Jiu Xiaoyan loudly pointed at me and yelled, I saw it! It was Jiang Yunning who pushed our mom into the water. She wanted to hurt Mom. My heart turned cold. Jiu Jingyan turned to me the next moment. His eyes looked at me with deep disappointment. Jiang Yunning, Kui Qingyan spoke up for you every day. She even tries to persuade my parents-in-law to treat you better. But you never show any gratitude. No wonder your parents gave up on you. You really don't deserve to be loved. It stabbed into my heart like a knife. Jiu Jingyan knows no one cares about me, but he still steps right where it hurts most. Jiang Xingyan's tricks like this. These crude setups and frame jobs. She has pulled plenty over the years. I've explained myself every time before. But today I don't want to explain. I just turned and went back to my room. In my final hours, I just want peace and quiet. Not long after I walked into my bedroom, Jiu Jingyan followed me in. His voice was icy.
He said, "You think hiding here?"
Means you can avoid your mistakes. I tilted my head to look at him. I spoke slowly, one word at a time. I didn't push Jiang Qingyan into the water. If you don't believe me, call the police. I won't admit to something I didn't do. Jiu Jingyan's eyes turned cold and dark. He got angrier. He walked toward me quickly. He grabbed my arm. Even at this point, you still refuse to reflect on what you've done. Stop arguing. You need to go apologize to Qingyan. He yanked my arm hard. It pulled on the wound on my back. I couldn't help but gasp in pain. Jiu Jingyan immediately stopped talking. He saw the blood soaking through my back. His expression changed. What happened? Why didn't you say you were hurt? Before I could answer, he frowned and shouted for the servants. Go get the doctor. Tell him to check Madam's wounds. Right after he said that, a maid came running in. She shouted loudly, Sir, young master. Madam says she has a headache. Hurry and check on her. Jiu Jingyan heard this and immediately set me aside. He rushed out in a hurry, leaving only one last sentence. I'll have someone send medicine for your wounds soon. He didn't stop. I watched him leave in a rush. But the medicine never got sent. I lost too much blood. The pain was unbearable. I curled up in the blankets, barely conscious. I didn't even know when I passed out. When I woke up again, it was a commotion at the door that woke me. Dad, my sister and I don't want to visit Jiang Yoning. She tried to hurt our mom. Grandpa had her whipped. She deserves it. I could hear Jiang Jinyan trying to comfort them. Jinyan, the kids are still young. If they don't want to go in, just let it be. It's not good for them to catch the illness either. Your parents punished your sister because they care and wish she did better. At first, they arranged for your sister to marry a tutor. He promised he'd make her happy. But your sister took the marriage contract and forced you to marry her in front of everyone, just trying to cling to the Jiang family's fortune. Now she can't even follow the rules. Not even the kids are close to her. Wonder if she ever regrets it. Insisting on marrying you. Jiu Jingyan heard all of this, paused for a moment, then said, if that's the case, take the kids back to Mingyu Pavilion. I'll let your sister know how you feel. Maybe all this hardship will teach her a lesson, so she'll respect you later. Hearing all that, I felt completely numb inside. That tutor my parents chose for me was a psycho. His last wife died from his beatings. They wanted me to marry him, to lock me away forever, so I'd never be in Qingyan's way again. If the system hadn't helped me find the marriage contract with the Jiu family, if I hadn't gone to a crowded place and forced Jiu Jingyan to marry me with it, I'd probably be dead already. Thinking about this, my head throbbed again, like rabid dogs biting at my bones. The pain was dizzying. I couldn't help asking the system, it hurts so much, how long until I die? The system said soon, just 3 hours left. At the same time, I also heard Jiu Jingyan's cold question, how long till you die? I opened my eyes and saw. Jiu Jingyan had come in at some point. Jiang Qingyan had already left with the kids. Jiu Jingyan held some medicine in his hand. His face didn't look good. He sat by the bed and stared at me, then asked coldly, Jiang Yining, you're an adult now. Why are you always talking about dying? You're so unstable. How can the kids trust you? How can I trust you around them? Once again, he found fault with me. My hands shook as I sat up. I looked him in the eye and told him seriously, Jiu Jingyan, I'm really dying. I won't bother you or the happy family you have with Jiang Qingyan anymore. So you don't have to keep warning me. I said it all without any expression, pointing toward the door. If you don't want to see me, then stop coming to me. I don't want to see you either. The door's right there. Go. Maybe my stare was too cold. Jiu Jingyan actually looked shocked for once, like he never expected. The me who always treated him like a god would suddenly stop trying to please him. He grabbed my shoulder tight and demanded, what do you mean? I looked straight at him and said it bluntly, word by word. I said, you don't need to remind me how worthless I am every time, since you and the kids can't accept me. From now on, let's break things off. Remember, I'm the one leaving you. and leaving the kids. Jiu Jingyan's grip suddenly tightened. Some strange anxiety flashed in his heart. He looked at me tense. If you leave us, where will you go? From the day you married me. Your life and death belong to the Jiang family. I let out a mocking laugh. Did you forget about the Wolf story? Jiang family rule number 88. If the Jiang family father has no sons, after death, you can't be buried in the Jiang tomb. My 2 kids were both registered under Jiang Qingyan's name. If I die today, I won't be buried with your Jiang family. After I'm dead, I'm no longer one of you. Jiu Jingyan listened, but looked like he already knew. So this whole thing, you just want to raise your own child, huh? His bony hand rests on my shoulder, pulling me halfway into his arms. He tries to comfort me gently for once. The kids were raised by Qingyan through hardship. They aren't close to you. There's no way I'd give them to you. If you really want a kid, we can have another one together. You can raise this one. That just chills me to the bone. Jiu Jingyan, do you really think having a child is some gift for me? Our son was 8 pounds. I had a tough labor with him. I didn't even get to see him after he was born. Jiu Jingyan just handed him to Jiang Qingyan. He said I'm not as smart as Jiang Qingyan, so I can't raise a kid right. I cried and begged, and he only told me we could have more kids when I was pregnant with our daughter. That night with her, Jiu Jingyan was drunk. He messed around the whole night, but called out Qingyan's name the entire time. After our daughter was born, she was taken away too. Later on, sharing a bed again. I secretly took birth control pills. I pulled my hand away and said no, coldly. If you want a kid, go have one with Jiang Qingyan. She takes fertility meds every day. Maybe she's already pregnant. Jiu Jingyan's hand froze mid-air. Probably didn't expect me to refuse him. He rubbed his brow, looking worn out. Let's not drag others into our mess. Qingyan, you don't want a child. So what do you want? I grabbed his face and forced out words I held back for so long. I just want to leave this place as soon as I can. Reciting your rules for 7 years is making me sick. I really hate it here. If I had a choice, I'd rather have never met you. As my words fell, the room went dead silent. Jiu Jingyan held himself back again and again. Even the veins on his forehead popped out. But this time, he didn't scold me any further. He didn't make me copy rules as punishment. Just told me, you need to calm down. Get some rest. I promised to take the kids to hang wish bags at the tree. I'll stop by to see you later. Then he left, kind of like he was escaping in a hurry. I used to crawl and beg. Jiu Jingyan never looked at me kindly. Now that I give him the cold shoulder, he's actually softened up. Does Jiu Jingyan only pick on the weak? Suddenly the system speaks up. If humans get called annoying by someone they like, you must feel hurt, right? Maybe Jiu Jingyan felt really hurt after you trashed him. I replied flatly. Then he's soft as hell. The system teases me. Jiu Jingyan is different from you. He's way up there. He had everything. You told him off way too straightforwardly. He can't handle the difference. I just can't relate. Maybe because in this world, I've never really been loved. These 7 years everyone laughed at me, looked down on me. But I still got through it because I wanted to see that warm, loving life the system talked about. How happy it could be. The moon's high in the sky. Jiu Jingyan took Jiang Qingyan and the kids out. No one ever comes to my little yard anyway. It's even quieter at night. No one comes to bother me. Leaving is probably a good thing. I specifically changed into my bright red wedding dress. It's the best dress I own. I came to this world, spent most of my life as a beggar, arrived dirty and messy, but I want to leave looking beautiful, fighting the pain in my body. I did my hair and makeup nicely, and heard snow softly falling outside. The snow's really coming down tonight. I stepped into the snow, reached out to catch a snowflake, but caught blood at my lips first. Just then, the system announces, "Host, please get ready. In 5 seconds. I'll take you out of this world. 5, 4, 3. I look at the gate. It's pitch black out there. No one's coming, and no one ever will. Only the system speaks. Time's up. Exiting host. Soul leaves the small world. Host's body declared dead. At the wishing tree during the Lantern Festival, Jiu Jingyan waits by the tree, watching the 2 kids climb a wooden ladder. As they go up to hang their wish bags, Suddenly, he feels a chill in his heart. An emptiness hits him. He suddenly wants to go see me.
He had just started walking back.
When the kid's shout stopped him, we're wishing blessings for Mom. Hope Mom stays safe and happy. And has a smooth life. Jiang Qingyan says, kids' wishes are the most effective. So the two came to wish for him on purpose. But little Jiao is young and impatient. She couldn't stand steady on tiptoes and fell onto Jiu Shaoyan. Both fell down hard. Jiu Shaoyan panicked and screamed, Mom, help us. Jiang Qingyan was standing right there, but not only didn't help, even stepped back without thinking. The two kids slammed into the ground. Jiao hit his head and bled, blood flowing non-stop. He's just 2. All he can do after being hurt is bawl. It hurts. I want Shanyang. I want Auntie to hold me. Jiu Shaoyan panics and hugs his little sister tightly. He saw Jiang Qingyan stepping back and angrily questioned his mom. Why didn't you catch us? My sister and I both got hurt, he pouted, saying, if Auntie was here, she'd definitely save us. Last time I knocked over a candle. Auntie got burned just to save me. Last time my sister fell from the fake mountain. Auntie was right there to cushion her. She never let my sister get hurt. But you, Mom, are never around. Jiu Jinyan's face darkened more and more, and he looked at Jiang Qingyan, his eyes full of anger directed at Jiang Qingyan. Jiang Qingyan froze, stiff as a statue. His expression twisted for a moment. He put on a pitiful act and tried to explain. Jinyan, I didn't mean to. You know, my health's always been bad, so I just didn't react in time. But Jiu Jinyan saw him step back just now. With a harsh look, he scolded you for not caring enough for the kids. You really weren't attentive enough. Saying that, he picked up the kids and headed back to the Jiu estate. Dad's taking you to see Auntie. The 3 of them got into the carriage. No one noticed Jiang Qingyan's gaze behind them. It was full of hate and darkness. On the way, Jiu Jinyan was all flustered. Trying to calm the kids down, Zhao kept crying, wanting me to hold her. Jiu Shaoyan started complaining. It's all Auntie's fault for not coming. If she was here, my sister and I wouldn't have gotten hurt. That bitch did it on purpose. Jiu Jinyan frowned hard as he heard this. He put on a stern face and scolded Jiu Shaoyan. Who taught you to say such dirty things? Insulting family like that. Go back and apologize to your aunt right now. Jiu Shaoyan shivered in fear. Tears fell down his face. But everyone says those things. Earlier, Auntie got whipped by Grandpa's men. Grandma called her a beggar. Mom said Auntie was cheap. You don't like Auntie. That's why you punished her to copy the house rules. You even said she got between you and Mom. So Mom wrote to Grandpa on purpose. That's why Auntie gets beaten all the time. The servants saw you don't like Auntie, so they call her filthy beggar behind her back. The more Jiu Jinyan heard, the heavier his heart felt. All these years he'd been busy with work.
He barely cared about the household.
This was the first time he knew. I'd been living like this, taking so much pain and grievance. A flash of my pale, dead face suddenly hit his mind. His anxiety shot up. Right then, panic washed over Jiu Jinyan. He was desperate to see me. He drove the carriage straight to my yard. Jiu Jinyan yanked open the carriage curtain. Once he jumped out, he saw 2 maids stumbling out, rushing out of the yard in a panic. They screamed, someone's dead. Madame Yunning spat blood and died. Jiu Jinyan just froze.
He doubted what he just heard.
He stared at the maids for a long moment, until he finally found his voice. What did you say? The maid kneeled down in terror. Please forgive us, sir. We were too careless. We didn't expect this to happen. It only took a meal. And Madame Yunning suddenly spat blood. We rushed to call a doctor. But it was too late. She's still lying in the yard. Please go see her quickly. We were careless. Please forgive us, sir. Jiu Jinyan felt his feet sink like lead. He couldn't move at all. He looked at the pitch-black, silent courtyard ahead. His voice sounded surprisingly calm. You're Jiang Yuning's maid. Lying for him again. Isn't that right? Has he had enough drama yet? Go tell him. I have something important to discuss with him. Doesn't he miss the kids? He can see them anytime from now on. He can live with the kids. Tell him that. He'll stop making a scene. Always saying he's dying. The maids kneeled there, stunned. They didn't answer for a long time. One of them finally looked up and met Jiu Jinyan's icy eyes. She shuddered hard. then started bowing again in fear. Sir, madam, she really is dead. Jiu Jinyan pressed his lips tight. Inside his sleeves, his fists clenched, showing.
He was nowhere near as calm as he looked.
He just stared hard at those maids who didn't dare look at him. Deep down,
His anxiety grew worse and worse.
his palms were soaked with cold sweat. After a long moment, with a hoarse voice, he said, "Take me to see her." The courtyard was bright under the moon. A transparent soul floated in the air. I drifted in the yard, looking at my own see-through fingertips. I finally realized I was dead. My soul just floated out. So this is what a soul looks like after death. But I didn't feel happy at all. Instead, I just felt cold inside. Because, as a soul, I couldn't leave my yard. I couldn't leave the Jiang family. I couldn't help asking the system, why am I still in this world? I haven't moved on yet. System, you're not bugging out, are you? The system quickly replied, don't worry. Your soul is still attached to your own body right now. Just wait until you're buried. Then you'll finally cut ties with this world. We can move on completely. Sir, you're here. Madam's body is right over there. Just then, I heard the maids' voices behind, along with their footsteps. I turned my head and instantly met Jiu Jinyan's eyes. The man wore a fox fur cloak, so handsome like a jade-carved statue. His forehead looked cold and distant, just like the first time we met. His thin lips were pressed tight. I knew that look well. He was angry. I was a bit confused. What was Jiu Jinyan mad about? Is he mad that I died in his house and brought bad luck? So I couldn't help telling him, if you think it's unlucky, just toss me in a mass grave. Before coming to the Jiang family, I was just a homeless beggar. I used to be scared of having nowhere to go, that I might die somewhere and get dumped in a random grave. So I did everything I could to find the Jiang family and get recognized by my real parents. I just wanted a family. But now a mass grave really doesn't sound so bad. At least it's better than being in the Jiang house. But whatever I say, Jiu Jinyan can't hear me. Under the moon, I saw this stunningly handsome man staring at my lifeless body. He started shaking all over, then walked up to my corpse one step at a time. He stared at my clothes. That was what I wore when I died. Jiu Jinyan breathed out sharply. He almost stumbled as he moved up, half kneeling on the ground. As he picked up my clothes, his head was down, so I couldn't see his face. But after a long while, I heard a soft sound, like water dripping on cloth. I was pretty shocked. Was Jiu Jinyan crying? But before I could think more about it, suddenly there was a sound of crying outside. It was getting closer. Soon I heard Zhao Zhao's cries. I want auntie to hold me. Then Jiu Shaoyan started yelling loudly too. Jiang Yining, are you slacking off again? Hurry and come take care of us. Little sister cried all the way here. It's all your fault for not being here. You made us suffer. You're punished. No food for 3 days. Xiaoyan pulled his sister over, looking all aggressive. The lights in the yard weren't on yet. It was pitch black. Jiu Xiaoyan nearly tripped on the threshold as he entered. He caught himself on the wall just in time, steadied himself. But he ended up making Zhao Zhao trip too. She stumbled and fell to the ground. Zhao Zhao pouted and started crying. Xiaoyan was stunned for a second. He was the one who made his sister fall. But he still put his hands on his hips and yelled at Jiang Yuning. Are you crazy? Why didn't you turn on the lights? You made my sister trip on the threshold. You're in trouble, I'm telling Grandma. You'll be punished to kneel in the ancestral hall. He looked all cocky about it. When he saw a servant pick up his sister, he kicked the servant angrily, cursing under his breath. I was floating in the air, watching all this, expressionless. These are the good kids Jiang Qingyan raised. No respect for me or my servants. Not even a little bit. I used to feel hurt, tried to correct them, did everything I could to get close to them, hoping we'd make peace one day. But Jiu Shaoyun turned out to be sharp under Jiang Qingyan's care. He's polite and proper to others. Everyone calls him a good kid. He's just rude to me. Jiang Qingyan would always smile gently nearby and say to me, Sis, you didn't grow up with our parents, never got an education, and lived in the countryside too long. You just don't know how to be generous. The kids can't stand that, so of course they don't get close to you. Jiang Qingyan always said things like this with a mocking look, but everyone agreed with her. I was always left speechless back then, because no one was on my side. Anytime I showed even the tiniest bit of dissatisfaction, I was just seen as disobedient who needed to be punished. In the end, I could only hide in bed and cry in secret. But now I'm already dead. Maybe you just feel cold to everything after you die. Or maybe after 7 years I let go. Now, when Jiu Shaoyan yells at me, it doesn't hurt anymore. The air went silent for a moment. A servant cautiously tried to comfort them. Young master, please don't be angry. Your aunt, she just passed away. Jiu Shaoyan fell silent.
He looked up surprised.
Then shook his head hard. No way, you're lying. Dad, he's lying. Make him kneel and get punished. He complained to Jiu Jinyan. Jiu Jinyan had stood up at some point. The moon shone bright. I could clearly see his face had no expression, just as cold and distant as always. I once thought he cried because I died. Turns out I was wrong. I thought to myself. Jiu Jinyan closed his eyes for a second, trying to suppress his emotions. He glanced at his son, still making a scene. Someone come here. He finally spoke. His voice was really hoarse, almost like he was about to cry, but only for a second. Then he went back to normal. He signaled the servant. Take the madam's body away. Get the funeral ready. Xiaoan and Zhao Zhao are his children. They should be in mourning for him. They'll stay in the ancestral hall tonight. Start kneeling in mourning for 3 days. The servants were all stunned. Jiu Shaoyan was even more upset. Why should I kneel for him? He doesn't deserve it. Before he could finish, he went quiet under Jiu Jinyan's icy stare. I floated nearby, shocked. Jiu Jinyan is actually willing to have the kids mourn for me. But didn't he say, the kids are Jiang Qingyans in the family records, and have nothing to do with me? Why do this? Aren't you afraid of upsetting Jiang Qingyan? No one answered my question. Jiu Shaoyan was scared by Jiu Jinyan's attitude.
He immediately started crying.
Dad, I was wrong. I won't yell at Auntie again. Please don't make me kneel for her.
His crying made Zhao Zhao cry too.
Zhao Zhao even tried reaching toward my floating soul. Auntie! Auntie! That auntie is right there. Why won't you hold me? Her eyes were watery, staring at me, like she could actually see me. My heart skipped a beat. The next moment, Jiu Jinyan looked right this way, eyes sharp as knives. I instinctively backed away, but then remembered I'm just a soul now. I'm already dead, and no one can see my spirit. No need to hide. So I looked right into Jiu Jinyan's eyes. He really couldn't see me.
His gaze just roamed around,
never settling on anything. But in his eyes, I saw a kind of pale emptiness. I froze for a second, in my memory. I've never seen him look so empty. He's always been the one blessed by fate. Jiu Jinyan was always noble and confident. Even when he married a country girl like me, and everyone mocked and ridiculed him, he just stayed calm, arguing back every time. But now he looked lost, broken. That wasn't like him at all. Soon he looked away, ordered the servants to change Shaoyan and Zhao Zhao into mourning clothes, and post guards with them. The kneeling servants followed orders, each picking up Shaoyan and Zhao Zhao, whether Zhao Zhao could see me or not. He was just 2. He couldn't even talk well yet. No one would believe his words. They'd just think he was scared and shouting nonsense. My body was soon moved to the ancestral hall. White flags were hung all over the mansion. It was all solemn. My spirit followed my own body, all the way to the ancestral hall. Jiu Jinyan came too, standing in the center, not saying a word. His eyes were dark. I heard him whisper, yawning. I'm sorry.
He actually apologized to me.
I was so surprised. I floated closer, trying to hear what he'd say. The door knocked. Jiang Qingyan hurried in. He was still wearing his festival clothes, all festive and bright. His outfit matched Jiu Jinyan's red robes. The moment he saw my body, Jiang Qingyan wiped his eyes with a handkerchief. Jinyan, what happened? Why did my sister suddenly give up on life? It's all my fault. I didn't expect the servants to be so careless and let sister get hurt. Jiang Qingyan blamed herself right away. But the Wang family would quickly comfort her, feeling sorry for how hard she's worked. But Jiu Jinyan didn't react. Her face darkened for a moment. Then she put on a strong smile. Sister Jinyan is like this now. You feel guilty, regret letting me raise her child, right? Both kids still miss their mom. If you feel bad about it, let the kids call her mom again. I'm fine with it. After hearing that, Jiu Jinyan finally reacted. He looked at Jiang Qingyan. Couldn't tell what he was thinking. He asked, "You really want to do this? Didn't you always tell me you can't have kids in this life? Just want Xiaoyan and Zhao Zhao by your side forever. And that's the only way to heal your heart." Jiang Qingyan smiled. She stepped forward and grabbed his arm. Her face looked a bit shy. "Let me tell you some good news. The imperial doctor said I'm fully recovered. We can have our own baby now," she said as she tried to snuggle into Jiu Jinyan's arms. "I'm floating in midair, moving away a bit. When I was alive, Jiang Qingyan always tried to compete with me, constantly making me look like the wild one. I went from feeling insecure to studying day and night, trying so hard to catch up. Only at the end did I realize, no matter how hard I tried, everyone still thought I wasn't as good as Jiang Qingyan. I gave up comparing myself to her a long time ago. I never thought, even after I died, I'd have to watch her and Jiu Jinyan act all lovey-dovey.
How unlucky.
I floated away even more. I just don't want to see any of it." Next moment, I saw Jiu Jinyan actually pushing Jiang Qingyan away. My eyes went wide. Did I just see that right? Then loud cries broke the moment. Jiu Xiaoyan and Zhao Zhao were brought in by the servants, pressed at the ancestral hall, kneeling down in front. Both kids were bawling their eyes out. When they saw Jiang Qingyan, it was like seeing their savior. Jiu Xiaoyan got up and ran behind Jiang Qingyan. Crying, she called out, "Mom, please save me and my sister. Dad's gonna make us kneel to death." "Mom, didn't you teach me? Aunties are just servants I can boss around. I don't want to kneel to her." As soon as Jiu Xiaoyan finished, Jiang Qingyan's face changed. She grabbed the kid over, covered her mouth. She gave Jiu Jinyan an awkward smile. "Jinyan, don't listen to this kid's nonsense. I never said bad things about their mom. I've always respected her. It's just that she never liked me." She used to tell Xiaoyan she'd rather be a servant than leave the kid's side. Xiaoyan must have gotten mixed up. Guess she's scared Xiaoyan might say something to expose her. She picked her up and tried to leave the hall. Jiu Jinyan finally spoke. "Xiaoyan can't go." He seemed to accept Jiang Qingyan's explanation, still looked kind to her, but stopped Jiu Xiaoyan from leaving. "Xiaoyan and Zhao Zhao are Yuning's biological children. They need to mourn her." I heard everything clearly. I couldn't help but smirk at Jiu Jinyan. "I'm already dead. And now you finally realize they're my own kids now. If it was before, I really hoped Jiu Xiaoyan and Zhao Zhao would be with me at the end. But dying alone in the yard and watching those two kids not care at all, I just don't care anymore. I gave birth to them and took care of them for so long. I have nothing to feel guilty about towards them. I'm the one who's letting them go. It's a shame my thoughts weren't heard when I was alive, and no one cares now that I'm dead." Jiang Qingyan stiffened up after hearing Jiu Jinyan's words, frozen for a second, but seeing how determined he was, she could only pout, feeling wronged, and obediently set things down. Jiu Xiaoyan left in a hurry right after, saying, "I'm going to make some tonic soup for the kids." Jiu Jinyan didn't stop her, as usual, believing everything Jiang Qingyan said. His eyes were cold. As he looked at the terrified Jiu Xiaoyan, Yuning missed Yu and Zhao Zhao the most before she died. "So go keep her company." As he spoke, he signaled the servants to make the kids kneel, with no one backing her up. Jiu Xiaoyan suddenly got way more obedient. She honestly knelt on the ground, holding Zhao Zhao in her arms. When the lady of the house died, of course, the mother-in-law got involved. Jiu Jinyan didn't stay long. Before the mother-in-law called her to the main room, once she left, the two kids couldn't keep kneeling anymore. Jiu Xiaoyan's legs hurt from kneeling, crying as he held his little sister, whispering, "Auntie's gone, and there's still so much stuff going on." She really was awful. That woman deserves to be cut to pieces. "She hurt me. And hurt you too, Zhao Zhao." Zhao Zhao kept looking my way, waiting for me to come closer. Zhao didn't get what Jiu Xiaoyan was saying, but that didn't stop him from agreeing. "Stepmom's bad. I hate stepmom." I was floating above them, feeling nothing at all. Now I just leave for myself. It wasn't worth it before. Those two kids, still cursing me even after I'm dead. After yelling for a bit, Jiu Xiaoyan got tired and started whispering to his sister, plotting, "When mom shows up, We'll have her help us run away. If she doesn't help me, then we'll tell Dad. She's been faking being sick all these years just to steal Dad's attention from Auntie. I also know Mom's been secretly meeting strange men. Grandma said, that's called sneaking around, and if you get caught, you'll be beaten to death. Mom definitely doesn't want people to know. So she come save us. I was floating nearby, listening, almost bursting out laughing. Turns out Jiang Qingyan was faking being sick. All those terrible things he did in secret, Jiu Xiaoyan actually knew. I hadn't even been dead a day. And Jiang Qingyan's bond with those kids fell apart so fast. What a joke. Now I honestly don't think the affection between Jiang Qingyan, Jiu Jinyan, and the kids is anything to envy. It just disgusts me. I drifted to the window, and suddenly all I wanted was to leave the Jiu family and get away from everything that grosses me out. But I stopped right there. Jiu Jinyan was standing by the window I hadn't noticed when he got there. Moonlight spilled over him, giving him a layer of silvery gray light. He looked almost otherworldly. The servant beside him whispered, Sir, the high monk from Fahua Temple outside the city is here. The one you told us to find. That monk who can catch ghosts and free souls. My heart dropped. Why did Jiu Jinyan call a high monk? Was it because Xiao Zhao had called out to me, and he thought I'd become a vengeful spirit? Did he bring the monk here just to banish me? To make sure I'm not reincarnated? I panicked and clenched my see-through fingers. Jiu Jinyan, even after I'm dead, you still won't let me go? System, help me out. Come out and comfort Dajin. Even if that monk saw you, he still couldn't catch you. No one can hurt you now. Hearing that, I finally breathed easy. Jiu Jinyan down there couldn't hear me talking.
He just took a deep breath on his own.
And nodded. Good, they're here. I want to see Zhang Yanning one more time. But when he finished, he didn't leave right away. No snow tonight, just howling wind, whipping Jiu Jinyan's robe. He stood there, silent for a long time, muttering almost to himself. Just now, the family doctor admitted he really did hide Zhang Yuning's illness. Right after Jiu Jinyan left, he went to check up on how I'd really been living all these years. His voice was full of pain. Zhang Yanning truly was sick, but the doctor was forced to lie, saying she was faking it. She couldn't even stand up to the servants in the house. And even they bullied her, but I knew nothing about it. I wanted to ask him, if things were so bad, why didn't he ever tell me? The servants were so scared by his words they dropped to their knees, not daring to say a word. I calmed down, smirking at what I heard. Jiu Jinyan, I told you before. I even asked him, when servants disrespected me and stole my gold and silver, how should they be punished? But back then, Jiang Qingyan was in charge, and Jiu Jinyan always sided with her. Hearing me complain, Jiang Qingyan just thought I was picking a fight and wanted me to apologize to her. I told him clearly, I'm dying soon. He just didn't believe me. If he cared even a tiny bit, he would have noticed how pale and weak I looked. He didn't think I was sick, because he just didn't care. So I gave a sarcastic smile. Do you feel guilty? Guilty for not paying more attention and letting me die like that? Too little, too late. Now I'm stuck in the ancestral hall with no way out. Can't see Jiu Jinyan's face through the window. But I don't care anymore. I whispered how I felt. Jiu Jinyan, all I want is to get away from you and never see you again. Of course, Jiu Jinyan couldn't hear me. He just kept doing his thing and told the servants to take him to the monk. I'd already calmed down by now. Worst case, I'll just die one more time. As a soul this time. Can't be that painful. But I was bracing myself for nothing. The two kids were forced to kneel beside my coffin for 3 days, cursing my corpse constantly. But Jiu Jinyan never brought the monk over to handle me. One time I overheard the servants gossiping, saying he took the monk everywhere, around my courtyard, almost digging up the whole place, insisting my spirit was still there, waiting for him to come back. But it was clear, there was nothing in my courtyard. He couldn't find me at all. I finally breathed a huge sigh of relief, squatting by my body, counting the ancestral tablets. 3 days passed quick, and my funeral was almost done too. Soon I'll be buried in the grave. I'll never come back again. On the day of the burial, Jiu Jinyan finally came to the ancestral hall. I almost didn't recognize him. It's just been 3 days. He looks so drained now. There are dark circles under his eyes, like he hasn't slept at all. But his back is still straight as always. He comes up to the altar. He reaches out to adjust my burial clothes, fixing my collar. His eyes look so deep and dark. I feel my heart skip a beat. Something just feels wrong. And soon that feeling comes true. As my coffin is carried out of the hall, the monk is already waiting at the door. He locks eyes on my spot immediately. The old monk probably hasn't slept for 3 days either. Tunton is chanting prayers. The moment he sees me, he just stares right at me. He suddenly shouts, "Stop! Sir Jiyu, do you really want to see Lady Yunning?" The pallbearers stop at his words. My heart skips a beat. I step forward to test him. The next second, the old monk's eyes follow me. He really can see me. I get a little anxious. But then I remember what the system promised me. And I calm down again. Monk, just stay out of this. I don't want to see Jiyu Jinyan. At the same time, Jiyu Jinyan speaks up. His voice is so hoarse. Of course I want to see Yunning. She's my wife. She's the most important person to me. I hear it clear as day. It makes me sick. Jiyu Jinyan, didn't you wish I was never here? You should be happy I'm dead. Ever since I married you 7 years ago, you've hated me every moment. If I gotta choose, I just want to stay far away from you. My soul drifts away, keeping a big distance from Jiyu Jinyan. Funny thing is, Jiyu Jinyan can't even hear a word I'm saying. But right after I finish my sentence, he suddenly grabs his chest. Jiyu Jinyan takes a deep breath. His heart's been aching for 3 days now. He still doesn't know why.
And now?
His heart hurts even more, to the point it's hard to breathe. The monk takes it all in. He sighs, "Buddha, you say you feel sorry for your wife, and just want to apologize to her. I can pass your words to her for you. But Lady Yunning is gone now. The living and the dead are apart. There's no need to hold on. You don't need to see her again." He says it with real kindness. But Jiyu Jinyan shakes his head. "Thank you, master, but Ning is my wife. I want to talk to her myself." The monk looks at him with pity. "But Lady Yunning still hasn't shown up. I just don't want to see you." I slowly relaxed. From the tone, the master seems to be on my side. But I was happy too soon. Jiyu Jinyan won't give up. He made a solemn promise. "If you help me, master, I'll donate 500,000 silver for good karma. Just let me see her once." The monk hesitated. He paused and looked at me. Then he drifted a little farther away. "Either let me die again, or let me leave the Jiang family. No way I'll meet Jiyu Jinyan." The monk shook his head and chuckled. "Madam, you must be joking. You've already died. How could you die again?" I fell silent. But Jiyu Jinyan caught something in the monk's words. He caught a key word. He couldn't help but step forward. "Master, who are you talking to?" "It's my wife, Yunning." She called out my name, testing, in my direction. I kept drifting back, drifting far away. "Her death has nothing to do with you now. She's not your wife either. Jiyu Jinyan can't see me. He can't hear me." There's a hint of anxiety in his eyes. He can only beg the monk over and over again. He begs the monk to help him see me. The monk helplessly recites a prayer. "You and your wife were forced together, and now can't stand each other. Why stay so stubborn?" Jiyu Jinyan froze. A moment later, he muttered softly, "I never disliked her. I just didn't know how to face her. If I could go back, if I knew she'd feel wronged sooner, if she'd get hurt, I'd care more." I scoffed listening to him. "If I could go back, I'd rather have never met you." Maybe I was just too firm. So the monk respected the will of the dead. No matter how much Jiyu Jinyan begged later, no matter how he threatened or pleaded, the monk stayed silent. My coffin was buried without a hitch. Jiyu Jinyan followed all the way to the cemetery. He watched my body be buried. There was darkness in his eyes. But he didn't stop it. The moment the tombstone was set, my soul felt lighter. At the same time, the system spoke in my ear. "You're about to leave here. Is it time to leave? Great, we'll never meet again." Meanwhile, Jiyu Jinyan suddenly felt a sharp pang in his heart, like something was leaving him. The bad feeling snapped him awake. It's like he suddenly realized something. He stopped the servants from placing my tombstone. "She can't be buried. Dig the body back up. If she is buried, her soul will reincarnate." Jiyu Jinyan seemed to go mad. A freshly buried body getting dug up again. Everyone was scared. By then, my soul was incredibly light. Maybe just a breeze, and I'd leave this world for good. So I just looked at Jiyu Jinyan. I smiled softly. Too late, Ji Jingyan. I'm leaving. We'll never see each other again. As I said it, Ji Jingyan seemed to hear me. He suddenly whipped his head towards me. He opened his mouth, wanting desperately to stop me. Young Master Yunning and Zhao Zhao are still waiting for you. I just found it laughable. When I was alive, he kept me from the kids. Now that I'm dead, he uses them to keep me. Isn't that a joke? Too bad, the kids and him. I don't want any of them. The system broadcast in my ear. 32-1, leaving the world. At the last moment, I saw Jiu Jingyan rushing toward me. He tried to grab my sleeve, but caught only air. Little brother? Suddenly the system sounded an alarm. The world started spinning before my eyes. But then I realized, I didn't go to the next world the system mentioned. The system's angry voice rang out. That lunatic Jiu Jingyan. He went completely mad after you left. To bring you back.
He tried a lot of dark magic.
Too much blood on his hands. Now your karma is tied to his. We can't leave yet. I stared in shock. So what do we do? The system replied, now I'll let you be reborn. You need to settle your karma with Jiu Jingyan. Remember, after rebirth, never get involved with Jiu Jingyan in any way. Your new life is to fix what happened before. I can't go with you anymore. You need to live well this time. I hope you'll be happy. After that, the system went silent. Then I felt my body suddenly grow heavy. When I was conscious again, I realized I was standing on a familiar street. I recognized it right away. This is the Chance for Blessings festival at Fahua Temple. This was before I ever married Ji Jiyan. It was my favorite place. So this is the rebirth the system mentioned. When exactly did I come back to? Just as I was confused, I felt a sharp pain on my back. Someone shoved me hard to the ground. Then I heard some mean, mocking voices. You're just a maid. How dare you come to the Longjing family's carriage? Jiu Jingyan is way out of your league. As if he'd ever like you. Whose maid are you? Embarrassing yourself out here. Look how poor you look. Just seeing you is disgusting. I hit the ground hard. The gravel scraped my palm. It hurt so bad I gasped. Before I could react, a strong, slender hand reached out. He firmly helped me up. I looked up, about to thank him, and suddenly saw Jiu Jingyan's face. Jiu Jingyan, why are you here? I cried out, pushing him away instinctively. I stepped back a few steps. Why do I see him again right after I came back to life? He really is like a ghost that won't leave me alone. So annoying. I was overthinking. But Jiu Jingyan frowned and corrected me. Miss Zhang, you came here to find me. He sounded so distant and acted like he hardly knew me. I paused and took a good look at him. His face was handsome, his eyes cold and distant. But his features were young, not like the man I saw before I died. Instead, he looked more like the boy I first met. After the shock, I had a guess in my heart. Did I really go back 7 years? Back to the day before I married Jiu Jingyan? When he saw me staying quiet, Jiu Jingyan spoke again. Miss Zhang, think carefully. If you marry into the Zhang family, your future won't be good. At this point, Jiu Jingyan still thought he could talk me out of it. Marrying me, I looked around. In my last life, to get Jiu Jingyan to marry me, I found out his schedule on purpose. I stopped his carriage at the temple fair, in front of everyone. I publicly said I wanted to marry him. The other young ladies heard it, and all came to mock me. They humiliated me and pushed me to the ground, watching me make a fool of myself. These ladies are still enjoying the drama, waiting for Jiu Jingyan to reject me and embarrass me in public. They started laughing. I'm not who I used to be. Even without the system, I'll still be fine. I took a few steps back, put some distance between me and Jiu Jingyan. I looked up at the man who was my husband last life, but is a stranger in this one. I spoke each word clearly. You're right. Marrying you would be a nightmare. So I won't marry you. I took out the engagement letter I'd been hiding. The moment I showed it, I clearly saw Jiu Jingyan's face change. Last life I used it to threaten him. He was forced to admit our engagement. Married me, but this time, right in front of him. I threw the engagement letter into the incense burner nearby. Watched it burn to ashes. Jiu Jingyan, we're not engaged anymore. And we won't have anything to do with each other. I burned our engagement contract. I suddenly felt free. looking at Jiyu Jinyan again. He didn't seem to get it yet. Still staring at the fire, totally spaced out. So I tossed him a reassurance. Relax. Even if you want to marry me someday, I won't even consider you. The moment I said that, people around were shocked. Those ladies stared daggers at me, like their eyes could poke holes in me. Jiyu Jinyan finally looked away from the fire and looked at me again. His gaze turned a bit dark at that moment. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. That look felt familiar, just like last life. Right before my spirit faded, Jiyu Jinyan wouldn't let me go. But this time, he didn't do anything crazy. Instead, he reminded me, don't stand near the burner. It's dangerous. I looked at him, confused. His eyes were as cold as ever. Maybe because I burned the engagement letter. Got rid of a big threat for him. So he was in a good mood to warn me. Makes sense, I was the one who died last time. Jiyu Jinyan wasn't. No way he also came back to life. I got rid of the shadows in my heart. Answered him offhand. Alright, thanks for caring. After the niceties, I turned to leave. But Jiyu Jinyan spoke again behind me. Miss Zhang, the Zhang and Jiyu families have always been close. It's cold, and the roads are slippery. If you want to go home, Miss Zhang, I can give you a ride. I didn't look back when I heard that. No need, we have nothing to do with each other, and we're not going the same way. Jiyu Jinyan just said something out of politeness. I don't take it seriously. I turned and walked away again. It's late autumn now. The wind's really strong. I'm only wearing thin, shabby clothes. They don't keep me warm. The wind blew by. I shivered. Honestly, it's laughable. My birth family, the Zhang family, is super rich and powerful. Money and power are no problem. Even my real dad isn't stingy. But the clothes they gave their own daughter aren't even as nice as the maids in other rich families. The Zhang family took me back, but never planned to really raise me. They let me stay clueless about everything. People called me a wild girl. I was laughed at all the time. And in my past life, my parents favored Zhang Qingyan, the fake daughter. They forced me to marry a teacher who had beaten his wife to death. So I had no choice but to force Jiyu Jinyan to marry me. And ended up alone and miserable until I died. This time I've cut ties with Jiyu Jinyan. But it's not enough. I have to get married soon, so the Zhang family won't mess with me. I was frowning, trying to think. Then I heard voices behind me. I looked back at the sound. Far away, I saw Jiyu Jinyan heading up to the back mountain at Fahua Temple, with Zhang Qingyan right beside him. Turns out they were sneaking off to meet here. I didn't want to watch. I was just about to leave quietly. But I spotted Jiyu Jinyan looking up at me. He seemed to notice me. Instead of leaving with Zhang Qingyan, he hurried over. Looked like he wanted to talk. I backed up a few steps immediately, then ducked into the temple's backyard. Footsteps were getting closer. Zhang Qingyan sounded confused. Jinyan, why did you suddenly ditch me? Who are you looking for? After a pause, Jiyu Jinyan said, I thought I saw someone I knew. Behind the wall, I rolled my eyes. In my last life, I was never close to Jiyu Jinyan. Honestly, I couldn't stand being near him. Maybe the heavens heard how much I wanted to avoid him. Jiyu Jinyan wanted to come find me in the backyard, but a little monk came by and asked him to leave. I let out a breath. Didn't want to hang around. Just wanted to get off this mountain fast. Suddenly, I heard the creak of a door behind me. The backyard door opened. I turned my head to look. And there he was. The high monk I met after my death in my past life. He was walking out with a man and a woman. When they saw me, they didn't scold me for breaking the rules. Instead, they both got excited and headed my way. I froze on the spot, not sure how to react. I heard that this monk at Fahua Temple is really spiritual. Did he figure out I'm reborn? I got all nervous inside. But the monk just put his hands together, smiled at me gently, and said, You came at the right time. These two guests, were hoping you could help them out. They politely invited me into the meditation room. There was hot tea in front of me. That's when I learned. The monk hadn't found out I was reborn. The monk hadn't discovered I was reborn. He was just asked by guests for help. He did some fortune telling and saw that whoever came to the backyard would help the guests through their troubles. And that person happened to be me. The monk said gently, Don't be nervous. These two are from the Marquis of Genen's family. The brother and sister often come up to help the poor. They're kind to those less fortunate. Both of them are very kind. The sister was dressed beautifully, with a gentle, dignified look. Her brother wore a sword at his waist and had sharp features. I didn't know them in my past life, since they would die soon after. I heard the whole family was loyal to the country, with only this brother and sister left. The sister, Qin Zhuan, was already very sick. A month later, the brother Qin Jie was going to war, but someone poisoned and killed him. That same day, Qin Zhuan died from grief. She passed away too. Thinking of that, I gave the siblings a strange look. So, what do you want me to help with? I'm just a wild girl. Can't really help you much. Qin Zhuan coughed softly. It's about my illness. Miss Zhang, the monk said my sickness can only be cured by you? She hesitated a bit, looking unsure. I don't know how to treat illnesses, but I did hear Qin Zhuan's story in my past life. She was born weak, couldn't get pregnant after 5 years of marriage, and wouldn't live long. Kind of a coincidence? Jiang Qingyan had a medicine recipe she barely used, meant for someone born weak. That was when he was faking sickness. I got it from the system, using my only little bit of points, just to get along with her.
He outlived me in my past life.
Lived longer than I did. Turns out I actually could help Qin Zhuan. But even with the recipe, Qin Jie still has to go to war, and will get poisoned. Qin Zhuan won't survive the month either, so I really hesitated. Qin Zhuan's eyes dimmed. She still managed to smile. Miss Zhang, if you can cure me, no matter what you want, the Zhenin family will try to help. Hope you'll think about it. She didn't force me. She even walked me out herself. I felt a little awkward, but I couldn't just tell them, you two don't bother anymore, because no matter what you do, you'll both be dead in a month. When I left the room, I was all tangled up. I rounded a corner, lost in thought, and suddenly bumped into someone. Almost lost my balance, but a hand grabbed my belt tight and steadied me. I looked up, and there was Ji Eugenian again. So it really is you. Miss Zhang, didn't you go home already? He questioned me first. I pushed his hand away. I just came to see the temple fair. I like crowds. What's wrong with staying a little longer? Ji Eugenian pressed his lips together. He glanced at me, then at the Zhang family carriage at the gate. Eyes cold, like he thought I was chasing after him on purpose, as if I came just for him. But that's really not true. I said coldly, just took a wrong turn, that's all. Jinian didn't answer. I knew he didn't believe me, but who cares? Let him believe what he wants. I'm not that person who used to wait for his little bits of kindness just to get by. Not anymore in this life. I don't need to care how he feels. I turned to go. Just before I left, something came to mind. So I turned back to Jiu Jinian. By the way, congrats to you and Jiang Zhenyan. Hope you live happily ever after. You two are about to get married, right? My parents are waiting for you to propose every day. Hurry and come make it official. Tie the knot with Jiang Qingyan already. Stop bothering me. I'm just saying good things here. But I have no idea what's wrong with Ji Eugenian. He started frowning. Don't talk nonsense about Qingyan.
He was about to scold me again.
Then a voice behind cut him off. Miss Zhang, Qin Jie, who just left, actually came back. All dressed up and proper. Tall and graceful. I need to discuss something with you. I said yes right away. Let's find somewhere quiet to talk. I ignored Ji Jinian. I took Qin Jie with me and left. We slipped into an empty yard. While closing the gate, I kept looking outside, afraid Ji Eugenian would follow. But the next second, what Qin Jie said shocked me. He looked down at me, seriously asked Miss Zhang, will you marry me? For a second, I thought I misheard. I looked at Qin Jie. Say that again? I was so stunned. I didn't even notice his ears turned red. He looked down and repeated it, every word clear. Then he explained, excuse me, Miss Zhang. I just asked about your situation. Your family doesn't treat you well. Your mother said you'll be engaged soon. But no real suitors have come forward. So I guess it's not a good match. I figured you're eager to get married. So how about marrying me? In return, help my sister get better. I stared at her, stunned. I just couldn't react yet. Right then, the door slammed open. Ji Eugenian's voice rang out. Who is marrying who? How can you make decisions about marriage so carelessly? Ji Eugenian was always distant, like a flower on a high mountain, like the moon above the mountains. When did he start acting so clingy, even sneaking over to eavesdrop? I shot a cold look at the man barging in. What does this have to do with you? No one here wants you around. Please leave. I kicked Jiyu Jinyan out unceremoniously. His face turned dark, watching the person in front of him, not hesitating to leave with another guy. He followed without thinking. Even after getting kicked out, he stayed. He found an excuse instead. The Jiang and Jiyu families are old friends. Your uncle Jiang and Jiang's daughter. Someone's trying to trick you into marriage, ruining your reputation. Of course I have to step in. Miss Jiang, your parents will arrange your marriage. You shouldn't secretly promise yourself to someone else.
He just had to bring that up.
I immediately thought of that teacher from the Jiangs who killed his wife. He had a violent temper and beat his first wife to death. A man like that, and a marriage like that. Must I still obey my foster parents and spend the rest of my life in hell? I'd rather marry Brother Chin, even though he died in my past life, and I risk becoming a widow. It's still better than that teacher or Jiyu Jinyan. Those two options, marrying him is 10,000 times better. My thoughts suddenly stopped, and everything became clear. Thinking about it, marrying Chin Jie seems quite good. My eyes lit up. I looked up at Chin Jie. I'll marry you, but on one condition. Jiyu Jinyan's face suddenly paled. Jiang Yoning was startled. She saw Jiyu Jinyan's cold expression and his unconsciously clenched fists. Anger surged in my heart. Sir, I'll say it again. I have nothing to do with you. Please call me Miss Jiang. We aren't close enough for first names. Me, a simple country girl, had shamed him repeatedly. Jiyu Jinyan was furious. He narrowed his eyes and spoke coldly. Weren't you just begging me to marry you? I hurriedly glanced at Chin Jie. He stood between me and Jiyu Jinyan, as if protecting me. He didn't react to Jiyu Jinyan's words, which made me feel relieved. I flatly denied it. That's not true. I just had the wrong person. The betrothal papers are burned anyway. I had nothing to fear. Then I wondered aloud. You didn't want anything to do with me before. Now that I'm marrying someone else, shouldn't you be happy? What's wrong with Jiyu Jinyan today? In my past life, the moment he saw me, he would have just ignored me and walked away. In my last life, I died, and he wasn't happy. This time, I'm not chasing him, and he's still not happy. Does he want me trapped in the Jiang house? Would he only be happy if they tormented me?
He must just have it out for me.
Jiyu Jinyan was speechless. Just hearing the girl say she'd marry another made him panic. As for why, he couldn't say. I didn't wait for his answer and tried to lead Chin Jie elsewhere. But after 2 steps, my wrist was suddenly grabbed hard. I still have things to say. Caught off guard, my wrist throbbed with pain. I cried out and instinctively swung my hand. Asterisk slap. Asterisk a loud, sharp sound. The air went still. The autumn wind howled, whipping at our clothes. It sounded like it was cheering. I pulled my hand back. My apology was insincere. I didn't mean to. But Jiyu Jinyan hurt me first. He got what he deserved. After the slap, Jiyu Jinyan seemed to calm down. His face was grim, his dark eyes glaring at me. His urge to persist was gone. He only said coldly, "A lady of quality, committing herself so recklessly, is improper, just like in my past life." He scolded me with cold disapproval. In my past life, I didn't want to disappoint him, so I would have apologized timidly. Then I'd feel guilty and inferior. I was alone in the Jiang house. I did whatever he said. But now I snapped back. I am no lady of quality. And you meeting Jiang Qingyan in private, isn't that improper too? The powerful can do anything, but the commoners cannot? Jiyu Jinyan's face darkened further. I breathed a sigh of relief. It felt great not to care what he thought. Once again I was glad. I'd cut ties with him in this life. I looked at him and repeated once more, Jiyu Jinyan, the Jiangs are scholarly. They've spent a lifetime on their name. As the eldest son of the family, don't shamelessly pester me anymore. It's embarrassing. I pulled Chin Jie away and left. I used their own words against him. It felt so satisfying. Behind me, Jiyu Jinyan's face went pale then red. But he didn't follow me. He probably felt too ashamed. Finally, I could speak to Chin Jie alone. The temple courtyard was silent. Chin Jie sat opposite me, head down. He glanced up at me occasionally. He almost seemed shy. But he was from the Marquis's house. A young lord who killed without blinking. Would he be shy? Probably my imagination. I brushed the thought aside and cleared my throat. My lord, I'll marry you. But you must write me divorce papers first. I wanted those papers. With them I would be free, once I'm past my foster parents, and safe from that teacher. Then, as Chin-jae's wife, I could leave whenever I wanted. No more living like my past life. Controlled by a husband's moods, the request was shocking. Who asks for divorce before marriage? Chin-jae was clearly stunned. I was ready for his questions, and had an explanation ready to convince him. But he just looked at me for a while and said nothing. I didn't know what he was thinking. I started to get nervous and was about to explain. But before I could, he nodded in agreement. Fine. He asked a monk for paper and ink. I watched him write the divorce papers, sign them, and hand them over. I was in a daze. He just agreed? Writing divorce papers before marriage. And he actually did it. I thought to myself, Chin-jae is actually a good man. I tucked the papers away and said, I'll wait for your proposal. Be quick about it. I want it settled within 3 days. Chin-jae was stunned again. But this was good. He nodded in agreement. I left Phahua Temple. Little did I know. After I left, Chin-jae watched me go, murmuring helplessly, am I so untrustworthy? To marry me. She needs divorce papers first. Chin-juan was at the door, mocking him. You're so reckless, proposing just like that. You're lucky she didn't hit you. Miss Jiang just wants peace of mind. I can tell. She has a lot on her mind. Chin-jae nodded silently. He hoped to propose soon. We'll head back and get ready right away. I have no idea what the siblings talked about in the meditation room. After leaving Phahua Temple, nothing much happened. We got home safely. But as soon as I walked into the Jiang house, I got hit hard with a slap right in the face. You ungrateful brat, you actually came back. Why did you stop Jiang family's carriage today? What were you doing? My good mood vanished instantly when I got home. I didn't just stand there and get slapped. I stepped back a few times to dodge the slap. When my dad saw me not taking the slap quietly, he snorted coldly. My mom also looked icy. I glanced around and saw Jiang Qingyan crying her eyes out nearby. Right then, I understood why Dad and Mom were so mad. Sure enough, the next second, Jiang Qingyan started complaining sadly. Dad, Mom, I don't know what Big Sis said to Jinyan today. Or maybe she threatened him. He's been upset all day. And he didn't even bring me home just now. He keeps saying he wants to talk to my sister. I'm scared that Jinyan might fall for my sister. What am I supposed to do? After she finished, my parents got even angrier. Mom pointed at me and yelled at Jiang Yoning. Do you have no shame at all? Jinyan is engaged to our Qingyan. And you're still trying to seduce him? Did you steal our family's engagement letter? Thinking you could threaten Jinyan into marrying you. Do you have any self-respect? Their words were harsh, but their eyes showed guilt and worry. My parents seemed scared I might really try to force Jiyu Jinyan to marry me. The Jiang family cares about their reputation. They might actually agree. But after getting a second chance at life, there's no way I'd jump into that mess again. I said expressionlessly, I won't marry Jiyu Jinyan. Before they could question me, I pulled something out from my pocket. I've already set my future with someone else. This is his token. He's a military officer. He'll come propose in 3 days. When the time comes, just say yes. I didn't mention Chin-jae or who he is, but as long as I stay away from Jiu Jinyan, the Jiang family will support it. Just like that, my parents stopped being mad. They were half believing, half doubting. No one said anything for now. Only Jiang Qingyan mumbled something. Sis is getting a proposal in 3 days? That's so soon. He really doesn't care about you, does he? Who proposes that fast anyway? Sis, shouldn't you think it over? I gave her a fake smile in return. It's fine, as long as I'm happy. After that, no one bothered me again. I had a few peaceful days, until the next evening. When I was passing through the garden, I saw Jiu Jinyan with Jiang Qingyan from a distance. Jiang Qingyan held his arm and started crying as she asked Jinyan, Did my sister come see you yesterday? At home, my sister always wants the best. She thinks I took the good life that should have been hers. She wants everything I have, kicked me to the woodshed to live, and won't let me eat or drink well. He feels so guilty, he just goes with whatever she says. After he found out about our engagement, he wanted to steal you away too. I was really scared. Would my sister take you from me? But you're all I have left. Jiu Jinyan heard this. He lowered his head and gently stroked Jiang Qingyan's hair to comfort him. Don't worry, what's yours? No one can take away. They're acting all lovey-dovey. I almost burst out laughing. Jiang Qingyan sure knows how to twist the truth. In the Jiang family, it was actually Uncle Wen and Aunt Wen who, thinking of Jiang Qingyan's feelings, put me in the servants' room to live. Jiang Qingyan always wore the newest suit embroidery brocade, while I only had the old, unwanted clothes she didn't want anymore. So who was really suffering here? Thinking about all this, I actually laughed out loud. Jiu Jinyan and Jiang Qingyan both heard me and looked over. Seems like I didn't care about Jiu Jinyan's reaction. Just let Jiang Qingyan know where I stand. Jiang Qingyan, don't worry. I'm not interested in this gentleman. But if you like him, you'd better hold on to him. Jiang Qingyan's face darkened. But after a moment, he smiled again. Jinyan's about to come propose to me. He said it almost showing off. Jiu Jinyan didn't stop him. Instead, he just looked at me with a weird expression. I met his eyes, flashed a big smile.
Congrats?
Jiu Jinyan's gaze instantly turned colder. His hand inside his sleeve clenched hard. For a second, he just froze. Then he gently turned to Jiang Qingyan and said softly, Qingyan, didn't you say you're tired? Go rest early. He didn't offer to see him out. Jiang Qingyan's smile twitched for a second. Then he forced himself to smile again. All right, he gave me a cold glare, and then finally left, dragging his feet. Now only me and Jiu Jinyan were left in the garden. He looked down at me, his cold voice breaking the silence. The Jiang family needs a matriarch. Qingyan was raised from childhood to take that spot. He learned a lot, and everyone in the Jiang family already accepts him. My mom has high hopes for him too. Jiu Jinyan seemed to be explaining why he wanted to marry Jiang Qingyan. Hearing that, it finally made sense. No wonder in my last life, nobody in the Jiang family, seriously nobody, ever liked me. Turns out by marrying Jiu Jinyan, I ruined the goal Jiang Qingyan grew up with. I crushed everyone's hopes. At least this time, I didn't make the same mistake. I looked at Jiu Jinyan and sincerely wished him well. Got it. You and Jiang Qingyan really are a perfect match. You should marry him soon, so everyone can be happy. I really wish you two the best. But Jiu Jinyan just frowned hard. He stared at my face, trying to find any sign of reluctance or regret. For some reason, that only made him angrier.
He pushed his anger down and said coldly,
I'll propose to Qingyan soon. With that, he turned around and left. I watched him go, still angry, totally confused. Why'd he get mad all of a sudden? Whatever, I don't even want to know what he's thinking. Time flew by. Only one day left of my 3-day promise with Qinjie. Just one last day. But Jiu Jinyan showed up first to propose. He wore a fresh white fox fur cloak, so handsome and elegant, riding a tall horse, looking all majestic. Behind him was a long line of wagons loaded with gifts. The Jiang family announced to everyone, Jiu Jinyan was here to marry the Jiang family's young lady. Such a big scene, with such a handsome fiancé. Who wouldn't be jealous of that? Jiang Qingyan was especially happy.
He dragged me into the main hall
And started showing around. Sis Jinyan treats me so well. Wouldn't you say so? I just brushed it off. Yeah, sure. As we talked, Jiu Jinyan walked in the door, striding right over. His eyes paused on me for a moment, then looked away coldly. He spoke gently to Jiang Qingyan. It's cold today. Wear more so you don't catch a chill. Jiang Qingyan grabbed his arm, still smiling. I'm not afraid of the cold. Then, like he remembered something, he turned to me and pretended to care. Sister, didn't you say someone was going to propose to you in 3 days? It's the last day now, so why hasn't anyone shown up? Before I could respond, Jiu Jinyan suddenly stopped moving. He quickly turned to look at me, his voice cold and steely. Who's going to propose to you? I replied calmly. Qinjie paused a bit, afraid Uncle Wen and Aunt Wen would give me a hard time again. So I explained further. I'm telling the truth. The lucky hour hasn't come yet. Maybe he was held up, but he's definitely coming later. I'm sure of it, since Qinjuan still needs me to give him a prescription. I kept my head down, thinking, not realizing Ji Eugenian was tightening his lips when he heard that. His lips were pressed tight, and that anger flared up inside. Jiang Qingyan didn't notice anything wrong with him, still laughing Sublai at me. Not saying you're lying, sis, but I'm a little worried for you. Sister, have you ever thought? Maybe the one who promised himself to you already regretted it? After all, you can't read, and your reputation's not good. It's only natural if the guy's not interested anymore. I just smiled. He won't. Ji Eugenian heard that, and his eyes looked even deeper. He glared coldly at me. Just then, Uncle Wen and Aunt Wen finally arrived. Uncle Wen sat at the head, smiling wide, then cleared his throat, trying to look serious. He asked teasingly Jinian, "You came with a bunch of gifts today, so what brings you here?" Ji Eugenian snapped back to himself, bowed politely, and said loudly, "Uncle Jiang, I came today to propose to your daughter, Zhang Yuning." He actually said he wanted to marry Zhang Yuning. His eyes locked on me, his face both cold and intense. He looked like he was about to explode, not thinking straight.
He just blurted out my name.
The room went dead silent. I just looked up sharply, staring wide-eyed at Ji Eugenian. What's wrong with him? He wants to marry me but has zero feelings for me. If he says he wants to marry me, that means he wants to throw me into the fire. Did he actually get reborn too? Just because he was mad. Just because he was mad. I died young in my last life. So it wasn't enough suffering in this life he's still going? I kept staring hard at Ji Eugenian. Before I could say anything, Jiang Qingyan suddenly burst into tears. He looked completely wronged, like a flower caught in the rain. Jinian. Uncle Wen and Aunt Wen looked awkward too. After a moment, they finally reacted. Uncle Wen tried to smooth things over with an awkward face. Jinian, maybe you misspoke. Don't upset Qingyan, okay? Ji Eugenian's eyes turned to Jiang Qingyan, finally clear-headed. He didn't even know why he lost his temper so fast. The one proposing wasn't even Jiang Qingyan. He pushed down that strange unwillingness inside, opened his mouth. But in the end, he apologized instead. I really did say it wrong. The one I want to marry is Qingyan. The whole atmosphere in the hall relaxed. Now that's right. Ji Eugenian and Jiang Qingyan were engaged since childhood. They're the perfect match. Mrs. Wen shot me a nasty glare, stepped over and grabbed my arm. While shoving me, she said to Ji Eugenian, "I've always said there's no way you'd like Yuning. She can't even read. She's rude and uncultured, as outsiders would say. He matches a family like ours. Even our lowest servants would be too good for her. Only some shady people would even try to marry her." Before she could finish, a servant rushed in from outside. "Someone from the Marquis of Shennan's estate is here to propose." For Miss Yuning, the servant sounded hesitant, like he couldn't believe it. Mr. and Mrs. Wen were stunned too. Both stared at me in surprise. My heart leapt with joy. Looks like I didn't trust the wrong person. If Qin Jie promised, he really would do it. I turned to go meet them, but a hand suddenly grabbed mine tightly. I turned my head, met Ji Eugenian's intense gaze. "You can't marry him." He sounded like he wouldn't take no for an answer.
He just waved for the servant to refuse the Marquis of Zhenan.
My face instantly turned cold. "Who I marry is none of your business." I pulled his hand off with all my strength and stepped back a few steps. Got ready to leave right away. But trying to get away in a rush, I accidentally knocked over the brazier in the hall. The coals crashed onto the floor. Burning coals rolled out. The curtain caught fire in seconds. Ji Eugenian's eyes widened. In an instant, he lunged over, pulled me into his arms tightly, backed away far, yelling, "Are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere?" His voice was shaking, not like his usual self. I froze for a second, and felt his hands holding me were shaking too. Looks like Ji Eugenian is kind of scared of fire. I was a little speechless, and tried to break free from his grip. "Let me go. What is wrong with Ji Eugenian today? I'm trying my best to avoid him. Why won't he just leave me alone? I swear, I've never wronged him in my life." But Ji Eugenian refused to let go. He stared at that little flame closely, like he saw something terrifying. I heard him quietly whisper near my ear, yawning, "The fire almost burned you. If you got hurt because of it, and disappeared from me again, I'd go crazy again." My movement paused when I heard that. What does Ji Eugenian mean by this? Before I could figure it out, the arms holding me suddenly loosened. Jiu Jinyan's body went limp all of a sudden, and he blacked out right there. Seeing Jiu Jinyan's tall body falling down, I couldn't help but freeze. I caught him instinctively. Jinyan just reached out. Jiang Qingyan, shocked stiff by all these changes, finally snapped out of it now, crying as she pulled Jiu Jinyan away from me. She even screamed at me. "What did you do to Jinyan? Don't touch him." I instantly came to my senses and quickly stepped back to avoid suspicion. It's got nothing to do with me. Wen's parents also snapped out of their shock and rushed over right away. They urgently sent someone to get a doctor. Wen's mom also pointed at me sharply and yelled, "Get out of here. This must be you cursing Jinyan by standing here." What a curse. Saying that, she hurriedly carried Jiu Jinyan into an inner room. I let out a cold laugh, didn't follow, and just turned and left decisively. But I didn't see behind me. Jiu Jinyan sensed I was leaving. His eyelids twitched. He seemed like he wanted to wake up, but in the end he didn't. I walked straight out the door and greeted Qin Jie and Qin Zhuan alone. The Wen family was busy, and Jiu Jinyan had fainted, so I made the decisions myself and smoothly set my engagement. Qin Zhuan was already married to a prince in the capital. She's now the princess and acted as our matchmaker. Seeing me receive them all alone, Qin Zhuan looked at me with pity. "Your Nanhu family has money. The betrothal gifts they prepare for you must be the best in the capital. You'll outshine everyone. My brother and I have always relied on each other. After you marry in, there's no mother-in-law above you, and you don't need to run the house. I can promise you, your life won't change. Everything will be as free as before." Qin Jie looked at me too, and firmly said from now on, "I'll protect you." Neither of them asked anything, but they stood on my side without hesitation. They really care about what I'm going through. I'm a little flattered. Honestly, I hardly know these siblings, and haven't even helped Qin Zhuan with his health yet. Haven't cured Qin Zhuan's illness. Yet they've already treated me so kindly. I couldn't help smiling. Looked at Qin Jie and asked, "Today's October 8th. How about we get married in 20 days? Last life, Qin Jie died on October 28th. This time he's set to marry me, so he doesn't need to leave for Nanjing. With me here, there's no way he'll die on our wedding night. If I save his life, it counts as payment for all their help." Me being this eager just made the siblings even more certain. I really don't want to stay with the Wen family, so both nodded quickly and agreed. Their determination to save me from misery was clear in their eyes. With that settled, my marriage to Qin Jie moved along fast. The wedding arrangements flew by, but I still got everything I should. Not only the full 3 letters and 6 ceremonies, but Qin Jie himself picked the date, and Qin Zhuan delivered the gifts with him. The two showed how much they cared about me. Soon it was our wedding day. I got married off from the Zhang family. Qin Jie rode in to fetch his bride. No one in the Zhang family was happy at all. They only put 2 red lanterns at the gate, because Jiu Jinyan was still unconscious. The doctor checked him and said he was trapped by nightmares. It's pretty serious. Jiang Qingyan came to our house every day, personally taking care of Jiu Jinyan, and always worried about his illness. Wen's parents were also upset about their daughter, so they weren't nice to me. But I didn't care anymore. I stepped into the bridal sedan, headed to the Zhenenhu residence, and focused on getting married. But who knew when the sedan stopped? And Qin Jie helped me off. A commotion suddenly broke out nearby. People in the crowd. Someone shouted, "Why is this person coughing up blood? Quick, get a doctor." I was holding a fan to hide my face, but turned to look when I heard that. One immediately saw Jiu Jinyan pale and weak. He looked much more haggard after being so ill. But why is he here again? Jiu Jinyan saw me too. His eyes lit up, and he ran to me. Ignoring those trying to stop him, he dashed right up to me and said anxiously, yawning, "I remember everything now. You're supposed to be my wife, the Jiang family's lady." My heart skipped a beat, just as I was about to say something. Jiu Jinyan saw my wedding dress and froze. A moment later, as if shocked, he questioned me right in front of Qin Jie. "Are you really marrying Qin Jie? He's going to die tonight. Are you really trying to be a widow right away?" Jiu Jinyan knows Qin Jie will die tonight. He must have been reborn too. Is it because of those nightmares the other day? I thought to myself, squeezing Chin-jae's hand in mine. He didn't even flinch, and all my nerves just vanished. I looked up at Jiu Jinyan and said, I don't know what you're talking about. I have nothing to do with you. And my husband isn't going to die. I didn't notice, but when I called him husband, Chin-jae glanced at me with a little smile at his lips and looked really happy. Jiu Jinyan noticed it too, his gaze turning cold, then shot me a chilly look. Chin-jae raised an eyebrow and gripped my hand tighter. I had no clue those two men were competing in secret, just felt my hand squeeze tighter. So I looked over at Chin-jae, not noticing anything wrong with him. Then I looked back at Jiu Jinyan. Excuse us, you're making us late. Jiu Jinyan wouldn't move aside. He pressed his lips together. A man who never bowed his head in his whole life. But now his tone was softer than ever. He said to me, Yunning, maybe we could start over. This time, there won't be King Yin between us. And I won't let the Jiang family look down on you anymore. Live however you want. Let's give it a try, okay? I almost laughed. Was Jiu Jinyan trying to make it up to me? But in my last life, I told him already. I didn't want him anymore. So I shook my head. Number. I looked at Jiu Jinyan. Eyes calm. My voice distant. Young Master Jiu, if you're here for the wedding, my husband and I welcome you. If you're here to cause trouble, I'll have to ask you to leave. Jiu Jinyan, the Jiang family has been around for 100 years. Don't bring shame to the Jiangs. It's kind of funny. In my past life, Jiu Jinyan always used this to pressure me. Jiu Jinyan's mother always said I disgraced the Jiang family. The Jiang family has been respected for generations. Jiu Jinyan's father was admired everywhere before he passed. He was looked up to by all the scholars. When Jiu Jinyan became an official, he was held up high too. Everyone praised him and respected him. But so many eyes were watching him closely. But I was just a country girl. I had no clue about the Jiang's rules. How did I learn to follow them? It was after getting punished over and over, learning from pain and tears. But in this life, I can finally use Jiu Jinyan's own words against him. And that feels great. Jiu Jinyan looks even paler. He wants to say he doesn't care about rules, or about the Jiang family's good name. He just wants the person in front of him back. He'd give up everything for that. In my past life, he realized too late. Only after losing me did he see his heart. He often missed the days with his wife, when one taught and one learned. But the coldness afterward was just because she was distant toward him, and it left a grudge in his heart. But now all those words are too late. Just like last life, he finally woke up. But I'd already gone. Jiu Jinyan stays silent. I'm losing my patience. I cut straight to the point. I didn't want to deal with you. I thought keeping my distance was best. That way we'd both be at peace. But you came and bothered me anyway, and ruined this life for me too. So I guess it's time you paid for it. Better stop clinging to me. After saying that, I glanced at Chin-jae and held her hand. Let's go. It's time for the ceremony. I didn't care what Jiu Jinyan looked like behind me. I walked in with Chin-jae side by side into the Marquis's mansion. I didn't hear Jiu Jinyan mumble behind me. I never wanted things to be hard for you. We walked right through the grand hall. Jinyan didn't follow. At the front hall, the official had been waiting a while. When Chin-jae and I stopped, he loudly announced the first bow to heaven and earth, second bow to our elders. Husband and wife bow to each other. After 3 bows, we're officially married. Now I've become Chin-jae's wife. I'm part of the Marquis's family now. From this day on, I have nothing more to do with the Jiangs or with Jiu Jinyan. When I turned to enter the bridal chamber, I caught sight of Jiu Jinyan again. Just a brief glance, but I think I saw tears in his eyes. He actually cried. In my past life, I never got a single kind look from him, even when I died. His love for me this life just seems ridiculous. At that moment, a ding went off in my head. The system finally connected again. Congrats, host. You've completely severed your karma with Jiu Jinyan. The system sounded so cheerful. I couldn't help but smile too. System, you finally reached me. Are you here to take me away now? But the system replied, Host, do you really want to leave? If you leave your feelings to Kinj, you can finally get the warmth and care you've always wanted. The love and protection you want. If you think you can be happy here, then stay until the end of this life. Kinj really loves you. If you leave now, he'll be heartbroken. I couldn't help but laugh. Really? Last time you said Ji Eugenian truly loved me too. I turned to Chin-jae, saw the joy almost overflowing from his eyes. And I started to hesitate again. I thought for a second and tugged on Chin-jae's hand. At the banquet, don't eat or drink anything. Just wait for me to bring you food. I'll bring it to you myself. In my last life, Chin-jae died instantly from poison. They chased down the truth in court. All leads pointed to a certain prince, and the prince was confirmed guilty of treason. The court was shocked. I couldn't care less about the court or about the prince who poisoned him. All I can do is warn Chin-jae not to eat anything. Chin-jae looked a little confused, but didn't ask anything. He just nodded slightly. His trust in me really surprised me. Is what that monk said really so convincing? How can Chin-jae not doubt a total stranger like me? Not even a little bit. Chin-juan came to my new room to chat. He smiled all mysteriously. Chin-jae said you forgot. Turns out it was true. You saved him 3 years ago. Chin-juan dropped a bomb. I dug through both lifetimes of memories from 3 years ago. After a while, I vaguely remembered staying in Jiangnan. I went up the mountain to gather herbs to sell. I really did save someone who was dying. I bandaged him up quickly, then went down the mountain to call for help. Asked the constable to go save him. But later the constable said there was no injured person on the mountain. He even fined me for false reporting. So I thought I dreamed the whole thing. So it was him, I muttered in a low voice. Back then the constable made me pay a whole silver tael as a fine. I was so mad I skipped dinner. Chin-juan saw my face darken and had a bad feeling. So he quickly changed the subject. Ning, are you hungry? Let's eat first. The Marquis of Shannon's house really is pretty free. Last life, when I married into the Jiang family, I had to sit stiff as a post all day on my wedding night. Jiu Jinyan didn't show up, so I just sat there for a whole day and night. But married to Chin-jae, I have people to chat with. Chin-juan even cooked for me himself. I tasted the food first, made sure it wasn't poisoned, then asked a maid for a small plate, put some food on it. Chin-juan saw me do this and laughed. Are you saving this for Chin-jae? I made his portion too. He even helped me fill some small bowls, packed them in a lunchbox, and winked at me. Chin-jae is resting in the inner hall now. You can sneak over and bring it to him, then come back. And check out your own wedding fun along the way. Lin Juan egged me on. I couldn't resist, so I went as told. Just as I reached the inner hall, I heard Chin-jae talking with Jiu Jinyan. Chin-jae's tone was cold but firm. Yanning is my wife, so I will protect her. Jiu Jinyan seemed to choke up, then said, I was just a step too late. That's how you beat me to it. But you're doomed to die. When you're gone, Yanning will be left all alone. You don't need to care about that. The moment he said that, the door opened. I locked eyes with Chin-jae. I smiled at him, honey. Are you hungry? I brought you dinner. I grabbed Chin-jae to leave. But Ji Eugenian called out from behind, yawning. Did you really marry Chin-jae? Are you happy? Even if you might be widowed. I didn't look back, but I answered him, yes, I'm happy. And then I walked off shoulder to shoulder with Chin-jae. Before we turned the long hallway, I think I caught a glimpse of Ji Jinyan still standing there. He looked so defeated. After the wedding, my life calmed down. Ji Jinyan seemed to give up. He never bothered us again. Chin-jae, newlywed, stayed home all day, so he never requested to be sent to Nanjang poison region, meaning no one tried to poison him. Chin-jae and I joked about the silver tael I lost, started a discussion about it. He couldn't pay me back for back then, so he let me boss him around, signed his name as proof. From now on, if I say east, he'll never go west. I got a little box ready and put all that evidence inside. Ping-jae saw it and threw a key in there too. The storeroom key. If you want to run the house, do it. If you want to spend money, spend it. If you get bored, you can even count silver to pass the time. I froze for a bit. Last life, both the Jiang family and Jiang household were rich, but no one ever gave me money. This was my first time getting the storeroom key. I've seen the ledgers of Marquis of Shannon's house, piled up thick stacks, a whole room full of records. I couldn't help but joke, with a storeroom this full, even if I just spend money, I probably won't run out in this life. Qingje smiled too, his eyes stuck on me. All gentle and loving. I felt a little awkward. We just got married and have done everything couples do. Why does he seem even more clingy now? I was about to say something to break the ice, but Qingje spoke first. I heard Jiyu Jingyan lost his mind. I froze. Then I realized the night I married Qingje. He stood outside the Marquis' house all night. By the time his family found him, his mind was gone. The once genius has turned into a fool. I couldn't believe it, so I asked again. He really lost his mind? Maybe. In his last life, Jiyu Jingyan was a government prodigy, sure to have a great future, just waiting for the old minister to retire, then get promoted. With his intelligence, would he really lose it over my marriage? 3 days later, I got a letter from a monk at Fahua Temple, and finally learned the real reason. The monk wrote, Jiyu Jingyan made a lot of bad karma in his past life, slaughtered a Buddhist temple and ignored his duties, and brought shame upon his country's name. Won't end well. This life, I got my memories back, but my obsession faded away. Even my soul can't hold on. 3 souls scattered. The other 2 couldn't go back to normal. So sad, so pitiful. But you saved a good person with virtue, so this life will definitely end well. Buddha is merciful. That's very good. This letter from the old monk just straight up said he knew I was reborn. At first I panicked a little, but calmed down right after. If I do no wrong, I don't fear karma. The old monk even said I'd leave peacefully this lifetime. So what's there to fear? After I figured it out, I finally poked the system. Once I finish this life, let's go to the next world together. I'm doing great right now. I really want to live this life well. The system replied right away. It's up to you, host. After reaching an agreement with the system, I felt super excited. Just tossed Jiyu Jingyan out of my mind. Just when I thought life would stay peaceful, the Jiang family ran into trouble. This life, Jiyu Jingyan lost his mind early. Wen's father didn't join in. Jiyu Jingyan picked the wrong side in the power struggle.
He backed the loser.
His whole family got exiled. Wen's father noticed something was off ahead of time. Married Jiang Qingyan to Jiyu Jingyan. But Jiyu Jingyan wasn't the star he used to be. Jiang Qingyan, who once claimed to love her deeply, didn't want this at all. Jiyu Jingyan's mom didn't like Jiang Qingyan either. She thought after their engagement, Jiyu Jingyan kept having accidents. All because Jiang Qingyan brings bad luck. She blamed the Jiang family for their fate. Jiang Qingyan got a really rough time. Nearly lost her mind. She ended up coming to me for help, looking miserable. At the time, I was having a drawing contest with Qing. One's a fighter. The other's a wild girl from humble beginnings. About the same level. Both draw pretty bad, but it's fine. I like drawing, so Qin has to join in. Jiang Qingyan came to my place. I didn't have time to see her. Had someone turn her away. Vague crying echoed outside. I put my pen down, nudged Qin by my side with my elbow. Do you think it's cruel if I don't help Jiang Qingyan? Qin shook his head without thinking. He can't talk fancy, but that simple answer was enough. I started laughing. Nice, I'll give you my first painting. Just as I said that, my pen slipped. Now the first painting had a weird, bold line. Qin looked helpless. He could only agree as I kept drawing. In a bit, Qin asked me the same question countless times. Over and over. Yanning, do you like me? Are you happy with me? I nodded. Like you and I'm happy. I didn't hesitate about that either. Then Qing asked, testing me, what about that separation letter of yours? I looked at him, shook my head as always. I won't tear it up. It's my safety net. Qing sighed. He finally compromised and swore. Fine, I promise you'll never need it.
His promise?
Lasted my whole life.